Investigation 1. The drones flying over New Jersey. What are these drones? No one knows. We know that drones, unidentified drones, are flying over New Jersey. We have no idea why. We have no idea who the drones belong to. We have no idea who's operating the drones. The government doesn't know. The people do not know. The New Jersey State Police does not know. We are all puzzled by it. It's like Bitcoin. We know it exists. No one can explain it. That's really what it is. These drones are flying Bitcoins. Maybe that's what Bitcoin is. It's money that evaporates into the sky and then flies around. Is it there to hurt us? No, but I wouldn't invest in it. Some people swear by it. Other people don't know about investing in it. Other people say it's not real. But it is real, and it's flying around the skies of New Jersey. Now, I can't stress this enough. I don't know what to do about it, but I know what not to do about it. Do not shoot at the drones. I repeat, do not shoot at the drones. This isn't a school, okay? Shooting is inappropriate. And if you shoot at the drone could fall down. It could fall down, and it's falling down in New Jersey. So it could hurt a pizza business, or a woman on her way to a hair appointment, or a woman who just got done with her hair appointment and is on a way to pick up a pizza for her family, okay? Who lives in a split level row home with her parents living on the other side so that they can stay close and help with the children. But my point is that it's very damaging if you shoot the drone out of the sky. And besides that, let me be even more clear. The drone didn't do anything to you. The drone is just hovering. They haven't made any moves, which makes me think if it is aliens, the aliens are narcissists. They just want us to talk about them. They're probably up there going, oh my God, look at the people of Earth. They can't stop talking about us. They are obsessed with us. That's probably what they're doing. They come from a narcissistic planet and they just want to be talked about, and we're giving them exactly what they want. I think we should just ignore them. Ignore them, and then they'll go away and go get attention from another galaxy. Maybe try Saturn or Mercury or Pluto, if that's even a planet anymore. It is, then it isn't, then it is again. Make a choice, Pluto, if you want to be in our solar system or not. It's like so on the fence. It's like, why? Are you a constant? Are you a vowel? You're free to choose, but like, let's get on with it and make a choice. You can't just stay in limbo the entire time, Pluto, okay? God, these drones are here for a reason. If these drones are just hovering over New Jersey, they must be fascinated with back hair, because that's what they're seeing, back hair. What does the Pentagon say about these drones? How about I don't care because I don't trust a 5-sided building? If you're gonna have a building, 4 sides is my limit. When you start throwing 5 sides into a building, I no longer can take advice from you. I cannot trust you. And I'm not saying that if you're a 4-sided building and you want to transition into a 5-sided building that I don't support you. I do. I'm just saying that once you make that move, I can't take my information from you seriously anymore, okay? Because you've decided to become a 5-sided building, and a 5-sided building just is not a building I can take information from. I support your choice. I support your choice if you're transitioning from a 4-sided to a 5-sided, okay? But I can't be taking information that could possibly affect my livelihood. Why are these drones out there? I don't know, you're a 5-sided building. You're a 5-sided building. So the drones are a little off, you're a little strange. Not judging, I'm not judging, I'm just saying I'm not taking my information from me personally, not taking my information from a 5-sided building. And I don't think anyone should. Now, we should know that the politicians are responding. President Trump has vowed to shoot the drones down, which I think is a mistake. President Biden has already pardoned the drones. He's now taking a nap. I think this has Hunter Biden written all over it. These drones are being flown by Hunter Biden. I think we know where this all ends. In a bathtub, shirt off, smoking a cigarette with a prostitute. What is a drone? I think that's a good question to answer. What is a drone? Well, a drone is a small plane, is what people are telling me. A drone is a small plane? I thought that was Spirit Airlines. There's more leg room in a drone than there is on Spirit Airlines. And on a drone, they probably don't charge you $80 for a carry-on. $80 for a carry-on? And they act like it's reasonable. Oh yeah, it's reasonable, $80 for a carry-on. Why not? Why charge me $6 for water? All the basics they charge you for, Spirit Airlines. I'd rather take a drone. I'm more comfortable with a drone than Spirit Airlines. Or Frontier. Here's some theories as to what these drones could be. These drones, from a Christian perspective, are angels. High-tech angels, and they're hovering over New Jersey to watch if people are sinning or not. And if you are sinning, the drones don't shoot at you. They just quietly judge you. They quietly judge you until you feel shame, and then you have to join like a yoga retreat or become a vegan or drastically change your life. Not drastically, just enough to annoy the people around you. Another theory about these drones. The drones are Venezuelan gangs. Exactly. The Venezuelan gangs' first step was to get into the country. They did it. Then they moved to Colorado and they started taking over apartment buildings. And they did it in Colorado. They took over apartment buildings on the ground floor first. And then because of Colorado's elevation, they started taking over buildings and structures that were higher up and higher up and higher up until finally, boom, they're in the sky. These drones are Venezuelan gangs and they have taken over the skies. Tres aviones. Yet another theory. COVID has morphed into drone form. It's no longer transmitted through the air. Your masks will do no good. You can no longer breathe it in. They have become drones now. COVID has morphed into a drone. And the only vaccination is to believe that these drones are a national security threat and they are going to hurt us. That's the only vaccination, okay? COVID has morphed into drone form. It's obvious. They've morphed into drone form. So take your mask, put tinfoil over it, shift it, and put it on your head. Put it on your head so that the drones, which are filled with aliens, do not penetrate your mind and brainwash you. What's my conclusion? My conclusion is that, and follow me here, airplanes. Airplanes are having unprotected sex with each other, and they are giving birth to what? Smaller airplanes. What we are now calling drones. Exactly. Airplanes are sitting on the tarmac, and which was a friend of mine growing up, Tarmac Jenkins, and they're sitting on the tarmac and they're bored and they're having fornication, they're having sexual relations with each other, and they're unprotected and they're out of wedlock, giving birth to these smaller planes. And now these smaller planes are flying around New Jersey unsupervised. Unsupervised. Someone else raised my planes. No, you take responsibility. You take responsibility. You had unprotected sex with another plane because you were on the tarmac and you just were, oh, let's get it in. And now you don't want to take responsibility for these little planes that are flying around unsupervised. And you want us to pay for government programs for them. Oh, get the drone a head start. Get them free breakfast. It's like, that's coming out of my taxes. There's an app on your phone, my Delta app. Where is your plane right now? Well, it's not telling me it's fornicating with another plane. Of course, it's here. Everything is safe. No, it's out having orgies. It's having orgies while I'm not on it. It's giving birth to these smaller planes. And now these smaller planes are just flying around unsupervised. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I think what we need to do is obvious. We need to send up a drone that's our drone it acts like it's friends with the other drones to see what they're up to and then report back to us, okay? And you know, the other drones are probably going to be very upset when they find out that this drone, our drone, infiltrated them and then betrayed them. It's like a Real Housewives of New Jersey. They go up and they talk to them, and then they start talking smack about them. And then a table gets flipped over, but then they have a brunch, and then there's a truce. I think that's the way we need to play it. Send up a drone, a double agent, to infiltrate the other drones and find out what they are up to, what they are thinking, what's the scatterbug up there, and then come back and tell us. And then we will make a decision as to what to do to find out what these drones are really up to. Because we don't know. We don't know. For all we know, it's a number of things that I just said. It could be high-tech angels. It could be a Venezuelan gang that has morphed. It could be COVID transforming itself into drone form. And finally, my theory that I'm going with, airplanes are having unprotected sex on the tarmac, giving birth to smaller planes, which are now flying around New Jersey's airspace unsupervised, because these planes had relations out of wedlock. They were not married by air traffic control, by an air traffic controller who took a vow of celibacy and a vow of poverty. Did not bring the planes into a union. So the planes then fornicated, did their nasty little business, and had smaller planes, which are now wreaking havoc in our airspace. There's no air traffic controlling them. There's no way to air traffic control them. They're out of our air traffic control. They're out of control. And we need to do something. That's my conclusion. I'm Mike Vecchione, and this has been my investigation. Thank you for watching. Investigation 2, Santacon. Let's start the investigation. Santacon is a once-a-year event where people dress up like Santa and they go from bar to bar, drinking and celebrating, just having a good time. Now, people will criticize and they will say, look, I don't want my child seeing Santa drunk, belligerent, fighting with a bouncer, throwing up, doing public urination, arguing with their girlfriend, and subsequently getting arrested. I don't want my child to see this side of Santa. But my argument is maybe your child needs to see that side of Santa instead of the fat, gift delivering Santa that we all know. There's another side to him. People are multi-dimensional, and your toddler needs to understand that. So the drunk Santas who are going out, I don't want my kids to see it. How am I gonna explain this to my kids? Let them see the reality, okay? Santa needs to get drunk sometimes and go out and get into an argument with his girlfriend in public and then get handcuffed by a cop after being tasered. Things like that are gonna happen in life. Life is sloppy, it's not perfect. The earlier you know that, the better off you're gonna be. I also like Santacon because it's like the white version of the Puerto Rican Day Parade. People are drunk, they're festive, they're having a good time. It's like if January 6th, instead of attacking the Capitol, they were attacking Christmas.
Airas.
Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad.
It's exactly like that. People make analogies, but my analogies are exactly the same thing. Okay, it's exactly correct. Let's look at some other holiday traditions that have come under some scrutiny. Caroling, for instance. Being out in front of someone's home and singing until they come out and sign a reverse mortgage, that's caroling. That's what caroling is. And people don't seem to understand that. And then there's the dispute of whether to decorate your house or not. I would say that if you're in a neighborhood where all the houses are decorated, you need to decorate your house. Because if you have decorated house, not decorated house, decorated house, it just looks like the non-decorated house is human trafficking. It looks like something illegal is going on in that non-decorated house. P. Diddy. So if you live in a neighborhood where people are really decorating their houses, you need to decorate your house or else you will be arrested and you will have to go to prison because something illegal is obviously going on in your home. Also, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Let's look into that, because that's a story that is fed to children and it's a lie. The whole story isn't being told. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, as we all know, is a story about it's an underdog. It's a reindeer who is working for Santa, and the other reindeers are making fun of him. Why? Why are they making fun of him? Because he has a red nose. He has a red nose, so they're bullying him and they're making fun of him. And there's a sadness that comes over Rudolph. But then the reindeer who are bullying, they realize we're gonna have to travel, the weather isn't so good. You know what we could use? We could use a red nose to guide us and light up the sky. So what they do is, they don't become better people, they just flip tactics. They use another strategy and they start being nice to poor Rudolph. And Rudolph feels good about himself. It's like, would you like to lead? Would you like to be the lead? And Rudolph doesn't realize what's going on. You know, he's a little dim, which is ironic, but he's a little dim and he goes, yeah, I'm thrilled that you're being nice to me. They're using him. They're using him so that they can get through inclement weather. And Rudolph doesn't realize it. But the reindeer aren't becoming better people or becoming better reindeer. They're just being scumbags and manipulating Rudolph. Maybe if you care about Rudolph as an individual, you ask him, why is your nose like that? You're suffering from a physical defect that maybe we need a doctor. We need a veterinarian to help you. But instead of that, they just take his physical defect and they use it. They use it for their own benefit. And Santa doesn't step in. He doesn't step in at all. He's going from bar to bar, drinking and arguing with his girlfriend, urinating in public, traumatizing children. So they don't tell you the end of the story. It turns out his nose is red because he's suffering from diabetes. He's suffering from diabetes, and shortly after Christmas, he dies. He dies and they eat his body, called venison. So it's actually a very bad ending, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So let's look at the tradition of cutting down a tree. It seems like this is the only time of year where it's acceptable to cut down a tree. Even environmentalists, climate change people are like, yes, cut down. If you're gonna decorate it, cut down a tree. You have our blessing. Go ahead, cut down the tree and decorate it, because the other option is a fake tree. And have you ever met somebody with a fake tree? They are scumbag frauds. Why don't you just put a sign over your house that says, a liar lives here? Fake tree? Way to ruin Christmas, people with fake trees. It's disrespectful to the holiday spirit. No wonder Santas have to go out drinking. They have to go out drinking to deal with your lying. It's a fake tree. Please. The other tradition, the final one that I'll talk about, is coal in your stocking. Everybody makes a big deal. Coal in your stocking used to mean you're bad. For me, it meant fossil fuels are the way of the future. I'm happy to get coal. I was happy to get it. Wow, we're gonna have a warm winter. There's coal going on here. Fossil fuels are in and they're not going anywhere. And I love it. And I don't care if it's a dirty fuel. I don't care if it's a dirty fuel. You gotta crack some eggs if you're gonna make an omelet. That's what I always said. And my father said to me, you need to appreciate when you get coal. You need to appreciate it that you even got coal. Because somewhere there's a kid trapped in a mine who got that coal for you. He's trying to get that coal for you and he's trapped in a mine. You at least are in a house, warm, with a great piece of coal. So that's the holiday tradition. And I think it's great that these young people are going out, dressing up like Santa Claus, and going into Times Square and facing off with MS-13 and other dangerous gangs who have now infiltrated the city. Oh, how about deal with our force of Santas that we have? And they're not the cops. They're off the cuff. They have a North Pole magical sense to them, and they will fight. And they will fight. So, MS-13, other gangs, beware of our Santas, because they're out there. They're drinking and urinating in public and getting arrested. And that's what Christmas is really all about. I'm Mike Vecchione, and this has been my investigation into Santacon. Thank you for watching. Investigation 3. Disney pays out its workers $233 million in back wages. Let's start the investigation. This investigation is interesting because Walt Disney Company did not abide by the tax code. They were supposed to pay minimum wage, and they claim that the minimum wage law is fiction, that it's a fantasy, it's not to be taken seriously. And they, I guess they raised that in court, not guilty by reason of fiction, which I guess is a defense. If you're Disney. I wonder if the actual characters showed up in court. Mickey, his wife, Minnie, Donald Duck, who is probably the CFO of the company, and his wife, who doesn't wear any pants either. But it's terrible because these workers, many of them forced to live in their car, according to reports. Female workers living in their car. Maybe they're waiting for a prince to show up, a prince from AAA to help them maybe change a tire or work on the transmission or something so that they can get moving to a better career. $233 million is a lot of cheddar. That is a lot of cheddar, and it's not lost on me that the main character of Disney is a mouse, Mickey Mouse. And Mickey Mouse tried to cheat workers because in Mickey's mind, he's like, everybody should live in a hole in the wall, like a rat, like the rat that he is. And these workers are suffering. $19 minimum wage, $20 minimum wage. So now they have to pay out the biggest in history, a cartoonish amount, $233 million. I mean, Space Mountain. That is the Space Mountain of settlements. It really is. They cheated their workers. Winnie the Pooh never had pants, probably because he couldn't afford them. He couldn't afford them because Mickey Mouse, the head of it all, is cheap. He's cheap. He wants to cut workers' wages, and they lied about it. They pulled a real Pinocchio on this one and said, you know what? We thought we were paying the right thing, and meanwhile they weren't. How about the workers don't have enough money to park in the lots at Disney? Pay them something. Come on. I mean, this is Snow White privilege at its finest. Snow White privilege. You know, you treat Snow White great, but you treat the dwarves, you pay them half because of their height. It's wrong. It's wrong for a dwarf to make half of a normal person. Normal height, I should say. I'm not tall myself. Am I a dwarf? 5'8"? I'm a short king. Take that. I'm a short king. Take that, Disney. Write something about short kings. And I actually feel like they should flip the script on most of this stuff. What about the dwarfs? What about them being a main character and Snow White being an ancillary extra? You know, I'm pretty. I live in the woods. No one cares. No one cares, Snow White. What about Dopey? It's a dwarf with a name that's an insult. Dopey. Dopey has low self-esteem, apparently, because people are calling him Dopey. No wonder he's on fentanyl, probably, now. If this day and age, he would be on fentanyl. People are calling him Dopey. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy for him to be on dope. Get him into a mushroom house rehab? I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what Disney's answer is to it, but it's wrong. It's short-sighted. That much we know. It's short-sighted. $233 million they have to pay out. And back pay. They backstabbed. They backstabbed their workers. Well, I'm Mike Vecchione, and I've just investigated Disney. Court ordered to pay their workers $233 million in back wages. That's been all my investigations for this week. We'll see you next time.